Trump voters are now turning against him for an ever-increasing list of reasons. And I think there's a lot of intelligence, a lot of, I think, wisdom to how they're like opening their eyes to what Donald Trump has done and has not done. Now, we can, and I think a lot of us will be inclined to get into leopards eating face, party eating faces stuff, because some of this should not have taken until 2025 for these people to realize, but better late than never, I suppose. And let's get into some examples of it, okay? We've got this. So you have a Trump voter, their name is like blocked out in red. We're not interested in doxing or whatever, saying, I'm really starting to regret my vote. And this person in yellow says, don't pretend you didn't know it was gonna go like this, everyone knew. But the specific thing that led this person to say they regret their vote wasn't expecting him to be anti-cancer funding. And I'm really of like two minds on this. First of all, you think there's anything he won't do because it's too crazy or too self-destructive? Like, really, you sweet summer child? On the other hand, I guess if you were gonna have one line that you didn't think Trump would cross, massively cutting the investment in research and development for cancer treatments and medication. Yeah, that does seem a little bit strange. But look, that person has learned based on this. I will say, if we could go back to that graphic for one sec, they specifically say, I'm really starting to regret my vote. He pulled the cancer funding and you're only starting to regret your vote, but okay, good. They're paying attention, and not just to the biggest, most high profile issues. Getting into like the funding for the HHS and CDC, that requires a little bit more effort. And so credit to the people who are paying attention to that stuff. It is very important, even if it is not the most sexy topic on a daily basis. But let's jump into something that has been much more in the news, much more headlines. And that has to do with ICE. So one voter, a Hispanic voter from Georgia, said he was gonna deport people that were criminal and have backgrounds. But I see that he's deporting people that work hard and have been in this country. And thank God that everybody, I think almost everybody, enough people, a majority of people now get that the worst of the worst being deported was never gonna be true. It was never designed to be true. It was a slogan. It was eat fresh. That's all it was. They didn't believe it. Trump knows there are not 5 million migrant murderers in America. They lied to you, and they're still trying to lie to you, but credit to those of you who've now realized that it's lies. We have a 52-year-old independent from Virginia accused ICE of kidnapping people. That is what they're doing. Good that people are seeing that. A 21-year-old Wisconsin independent said the administration's treatment of undocumented immigrants who don't pose a threat to public safety did not align with her conservative Christian pro-life values. Take that, Donald Trump. That's not even who I am. But if you're gonna be that person, yeah, actually live it. That's amazing. I'm amazing that a person actually meant it when they said it, and they apply those things. A conservative Christian, it's not just about them or their family and how they're awesome. They're actually applying that to people that the government is trying to propagandize them into hating. That's great, and I love to see it. Wonderful, wonderful. By the way, I also just want to give brief credit to Brett Ehrlich, who on last night's Turk and Jerk of the Year special, his Turk of the Year was the people who have been documenting and especially taking video of what ICE and DHS and Border Patrol have been doing. Because I think that has helped so much. There's been great journalism into this mass deportation and the camps and all that. But the regular people risking being brutalized or worse by the police state, I think they deserve a lot of credit too. So thank you to Brett for making sure that they get it. Now, one topic that I think understandably has bothered a lot of people in MAGA is Epstein, but there's so many, there's just so many. This person says, I'm publicly going to say I regret voting for Donald Trump. Not beginning to regret, they regret. As soon as he called Epstein a hoax, I was done. Now he thinks banks offering a 50-year mortgage loan is gonna help people buy a house, facepalm. So the bank's gonna own it your whole life, and after you die, buy a house at 30 and pay it off when you're 80. Average person in this country lives to be 79. The US government votes 90% together on anything that involves Israel, but can't vote on anything together for the American people. Washington is a joke. There, this person understands it. And look, I don't know this person's entire life history or their posting history, but I like to think that once like the big crack forms in the dam that has stopped you from realizing who Donald Trump and MAGA are, in this particular case, as soon as he called Epstein a hoax, I was done. Suddenly, I feel like you will be mentally freed up to acknowledge all of the other BS that has always been excused by MAGA. Little things like the 50-year mortgage and all that nonsense, the little lies, the weird diversions and all that. Like they have this immune response to understanding how ridiculous and dishonest and corrupt he is. But once it becomes indisputable, like with the Epstein thing, then suddenly the rest of it comes into focus. And so I'm happy for this person. I want to see as many people as possible wake up in that way. Here's somebody who's sort of similar, but they share with me horror at the sort of people that Donald Trump has chosen to give positions of incredible power in the US government. This person says, it's funny, I voted for Donald Trump, he won. I got Pam Bondi, I got Kash Patel, I got John Thune, I got Mike Johnson, I got Dan Bongino, I got Marco Rubio, I got Howard Lutnick. I got screwed. I can't think of anyone worse for all these positions. What a tragedy. I love it. This is the like I'm with stupid equivalent of Facebook posts there. Like I got Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino. Yes, now my knee jerk is to say, but did you not think he was gonna choose these people? What did you think he was gonna choose? Qualified experts who are gonna do their best? No, he's gonna choose stupid hack lackeys. And that's what he did. But credit to this person, they're now realizing, yeah, maybe we should have actual people who know what they're doing in these positions. So that's great. And then finally, let's go back a little bit to the tariffs, but a person realizing how important this issue is. This person says, I voted for Trump because I thought it would be funny to see liberals growl like dogs. I wanted affordable groceries, but the tariffs are gonna make everything worse and my life savings will be gone. I can't afford to spend $100 on groceries. I didn't vote for this. I'm amazed that it's the $100 threshold that's cutting this person. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like when I see what big families have to pay when they go to get groceries, like $100 is that's the basement floor of this thing. But groceries are the place where I think a lot of people have been hit the most directly and the most regularly, and in stuff that is not in any way optional. You have to buy this stuff and now it's way too expensive. So all over America, people are waking up. And the thing that wakes them up, that makes them, dare I say it, woke to what Donald Trump and MAGA are, it's 1,000 different little topics. And that is why we've been so manic on this channel. Like we're trying to cover all the economic stuff. And how many times have we shown you polls when it has to do with the economy? And how many times have we talked about inflation, but also Epstein and also ICE and also all this stuff. And so keep talking, keep sharing videos, keep posting. It is helping one person at a time. People are actually waking up.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?